long, good list.
But from what I saw as well, there's the opportunity for you to see the winning movies tonight at Movie Town. So you can actually head to Movie Town tonight and check out. I think tickets are available already.
Yes, you can go online to the TTFF's site, as well as Movie Towns, as well as the box office itself at Movie Town.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay,
good stuff.
nice. Yeah. I know, moving the conversation along as well, we are sticking to budget, so we're going to be talking to the president of the Nursing Association, Mr. E.D. Stewart. He's going to be joining us. Of course, you know, we have been discussing that extra $10 million that they got. So now they have a nice grand figure of $210 million that's going to be made available to healthcare workers. And so we're checking in with the nurses to see how they feel about that. And of course, we're going to keep the conversation moving in terms of the wage negotiations as well. So looking forward to that conversation with Mr. Stewart.
And more money talks. We want to tell you how you could get in on $20,000. Content creators, every single person who is on social media is a digital content creator, and therefore the Digital Foundation wants to help you become an even better one. So you have to stick around to find out how. I'm going to be taking notes because
I know, saying use one of them, you can do it at 20,000. Easy.
Saying.
You making content just for kicks.
I mean, but it's an interesting conversation as well because,
of course,
like I said, every single one of us that uses these platforms automatically becomes a content creator. And to see it monetized and to see our economy diversify is going to be an interesting thing as it's happening very rapidly.
Is not diversified.
No, not the $20,000 to the economy. I mean, in the sense of content creators monetizing their platforms.
No, they have been. But yes,
and it's happening a lot more rapidly.
Doing it more, of course, will benefit them and benefit us all, I guess, when they start to pay taxes on that money. But also, guys, on a bit more somber of a note, I didn't get to mention it earlier in this week, but we lost an icon this weekend in the form of Mr. Wayne Bruno. He was the band leader for Wayne Bruno and the Rapid Response, would have been backing up David Rudder for time immemorial. So may he rest in peace, master musician and guitarist and band leader, and of course Kaiso man. So may he rest in peace, Wayne Bruno.
Wayne Bruno.
Just had to throw that one in there because I know we mentioned Robert yesterday, but we didn't get to mention Wayne.
Oh boy.
Right.
So many losses. And today though we will celebrate a few people as we continue to get closer to International Anchor Day. I just realized it again.
How that reach in there?
It did.
We celebrating a week that is related to International
Because
Anchor Day.
I wanted to actually say, I know we will have a birthday segment, but I wanted to say happy belated birthday to Second Star, just because he had a song yesterday. I know you would have, but he had a song that I listened to yesterday, and because I was talking to you, I just forget the name of the song. But
how it does go? Sing it for me.
Lyrics second. Lyrics.
A new song?
One of the new ones. I try to remember the decent parts because...
the decent parts. I
yes,
like
boy.
that.
Yes, boy.
Well, speaking of the decent parts, we have Kerry John joining us this morning to close off the show with some brand new music.
We don't have that decent, you know, Kerry. Kerry was talking about drinking at time. You know, I feel like it could go anyway. Stick around to find out. Don't you love having me back on Wednesday? Isn't it marvelous?
Bacchanal Wednesday. We're going to start to call you Bacchanal Susie from now on.
First of all, that is my name for people.
Sorry,
you
small
can't
girl.
put that on me.
Small girl.
Small girl.
Small girl.
You know, smooth with that voice.
Let me say good morning to the team at Nalis and of course Pearl and to Springer and the entire team. They put on a fantastic production yesterday called For the Love of Liberty, I think it was called.
Yeah, For the Love of Liberty.
For the Love of Liberty at Napa, and it's on again tonight actually at 7:30 p.m. if you want to go and check it out. I'm sure you can get tickets at the box office if they're selling tickets. I think it might be free.
I don't know. I don't know what's this situation for that, but
yesterday. Yeah, so I saw it yesterday because they had a school show yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And you covered it.
I did. I covered it for TTT News, so we actually had to see it.
We had the inside
links. And it was also a great pleasure. I've never met Miss N2 Pearl Springer before. I've never met her before, and she's this small lady, and then when she starts to talk, it's like, wow, I just want to sit down by her feet and just listen to this elder speak whole day. You know what I mean? So it was really nice. It was also good to see the children's reaction to the play. I saw some children running to the bathroom and running back to their seats. They don't want to miss anything.
Nice.
So it was so informative.
What I loved is that Auntie Mavis John is also a part of the production, right?
Well,
and naturally, with the of course, once you hear the name of the play, right? It's For the Love of Liberty. So of course.
Go ahead.
But what was amazing to me was to see all the students, both primary and secondary schools, stand up when they stood up as though it was the anthem. When she started to sing the song, God Bless Our Nation, they stood up as though it was the anthem, and they sang along. They sang along. I mean, they didn't know all the verses. I was
just about to say, because she was commenting on that, but they were going along with the melody. They were trying to.
But not just that. You know what? They kept singing, "We take our pride in our liberty," and that kept resounding for me. That they kept singing that part the loudest, and we take our pride in our liberty.
Not just because it's the most legible words, but because they can clearly get that one. But I also hope because they actually do.
Well, it doesn't matter if they do or not yet, right? That reinforcement is what's important. And us as adults need to figure out how we can take our pride in our liberty.
By reading the budget.
And that is where we pause. That is where we pause for now on this Wednesday morning. But like we said, we have so much more coming up in the show. Rokas is here, Ayenka is here. It's Wednesday. My name is Kimberly. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. Stay with us.
It's the best Republic Day sale at the best toys. Visit us in-store for our Republic Day sale and get up to 20% off on selected items. Sale runs from September 24th to October 2nd. We've got items for everyone from newborns to adults. Come on down to our stores at Forces Flagship McBean and shop brands like Graco, Baby Alive, Barbie, Hot Wheels, Carter's, Baby Einstein, Disney, Amazon, Lego, Leapfrog, Cocomelon, LOL Surprise, VTech, Old Navy, National Geographic, Paw Patrol, and Ride-Ons. Or pick up items like strollers, drones, and hoverboards. And don't forget to shop the best for your baby from brands like Graco, Gerber, Carter's, Fisher-Price, Baby Einstein, Dr. Brown's, and Baby Gap. You don't want to miss this. Shop in store at The Best Toys this Republic Day.
We at the ministry would like all children to be safe upon returning to school.
Here are some of the safety measures and procedures to be aware of. Wearing of masks, though not mandatory, in specific circumstances is highly recommended. The use of non-disposable items such as a wash rag or handkerchief will not be allowed.
Students must keep their paper, pencils, books, and snacks to themselves. If a child is ill, please keep them at home. Schools are also sanitized daily to maintain cleanliness. The Ministry of Education is doing its part.
Let's work together to keep our children safe.
"12 and Under." Sundays at 5 p.m. on TTT and TTT Live Online.
My name is Sharon Gordon, and it is my duty to welcome you. Hub City Sound presents the 7th Annual Caribbean Festival right here in New Brunswick. We're in a new home here at Recreation Park. Put your hands together, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
It's good that we're back here today and we want to celebrate our culture, our heritage. We have good food, we have good music, we're dancing.
We're having a great time and we have a lot of exciting acts out here.
It gets bigger and better each and every year. It has all the traditional Caribbean foods and music and dance. So if that's what you're looking for, this is the place you want to be.
Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. Thank you so much for being here with us, Rokas, Kimberly, and Ayenka. And we're discussing things related to the budget this morning. I mean, that's generally the topic for the week everywhere that we go. And, you know, Kimberly, is there anything in particular that you were looking forward to hearing about in the budget that you did hear positive or negative reactions about?
I was looking more for diversification. I wanted to hear about the non-energy sector. The interesting thing though is that when we started our budget conversation on Monday, Dr. Marlene Atz, who is this environmental economist, what she's saying is that as much as we're going to be shifting from the energy sector to the non-renewable sector, we also need the revenue from the energy sector to make that transition. And so it's not going to be something that is going to be current, right, or something that's going to be taking place now, but we have to move to there. And so I wanted to hear more about in terms of diversification. I think a lot is straddling on the agriculture sector, and that's why there have been a lot of initiatives right now pumped into agriculture. But what else? How can we look at manufacturing? How can we look at things like even the content creation, you know, even digital as well,
online? How can we look at culture?
Right, you see? So that is what I was hoping to hear.
Yeah, no, we
like
always
more about.
Leave it out.
What about you, Rocket?
No, we always leave it out. We always, every year I see this journalist, Nigel Campbell, he always comments on how many words the Minister of Finance gives culture. Every year. I didn't see the word count for this year as yet. But generally he's be like, look, we get 50 words. Only we get a paragraph this year. And you know, it's always so interesting. Of course, there are the detailed reports, but he means any reading out of the budget. But I don't know if we are at that place yet where we're ready to properly invest in culture to be able to reap the rewards that we can possibly get. I mean, look, for example, you know, we just gave Marshall Montano a national award. Congratulations to Mr. Montano. Also to Contender and to Iowa and to Penguin and everybody who received the national award, especially in the cultural run. But Marshall is able to take his show that he's done here several times, how much ever years he's been doing that Marshall One Day show, right? And now able to take it on the world stage and sell out Barclays, right? Why can't we invest in other shows to be able to say, well, we have more than one that we can export? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, so is it the cultural shows you want in terms of the party? Because I know that they sometimes take I know that they sometimes take like the cultural contingencies across the globe to kind of promote the culture. So is it that you want more than just the cultural contingency that's going across?
It has to be proper investment. Those cultural contingencies that go across, they're under-resourced severely. And I'm not sure that the powers that we understand necessarily what it takes to be able to put the production and take it to move. I mean, Marshall now has a case study that we can definitely look into and see what does it take to move this show from on the ground here in Trinidad to where, I mean, but it's not the first time people have done it, right? We're talking about, like, when, oh my goodness, why am I losing his name now? Legendary playwright and Nobel laureate.
Derek Walcott?
Derek Walcott. I'm like, everything is coming to me except his name. Anyway, but you know, I've heard stories about them being able to take his shows and move them to universities in the States, but the cost of it is relatively high, and the return of it wouldn't be immediate. This is something that is going to be returned for future generations. I mean, we have invested in schools to teach people about creative industries and to teach them about, we have their program and UTT have their program, but what happens when you finish the program?
Where is the actual investment?
They're working.
Yeah.
So we are going to take a quick break because we have we have standing by the Minister of Education. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. Stay with us.
And under. Sundays at 5 p.m. on TTT and TTT Live Online.
It's D-Best Republic Day sale at D-Best Toys. Visit us in-store for our Republic Day sale and get up to 20% off on selected items. Sale runs from September 24th to October 2nd. We've got items for everyone from newborns to adults. Come on down to our stores at Forces Flagship McBean and shop brands like Grey Goo, Baby Alive, Barbie, Hot Wheels, Carter's, Baby Einstein, Disney, Amazon, Lego, Leapfrog, Cocomelon, LOL Surprise, VTech, Old Navy, National Geographic, Paw Patrol, and Ride-Ons. Or pick up items like strollers, drones, and hoverboards. And don't forget to shop the best for your baby from brands like Graco, Gerber, Carter's, Fisher-Price, Baby Einstein, Dr. Brown's, and Baby Gap. You don't want to miss this. Shop in store at The Best Toys this Republic Day.
हंस लो, मुस्कुरा लो जितना मुस्कुराना है। हमारे यहाँ कहावत है, जो जितना मुस्कुराता है उसे बाद में उतना ही रोना पड़ता है।
Well, if you hear that sound, you know exactly what the conversation is about to be about. We're talking education with the Minister of Education inside your spotlight on now.
Now, with an allocation of $7.453 billion, education and training has commanded the largest allocation of this country's budget. Minister of Education Dr. Nyan Gadsby-Dolly joins us virtually to discuss how this allocation will be spent. Dr. Gadsby-Dolly, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Good morning. Good morning to all your viewers, listeners.
Now, Minister, I know that the digital transformation plan for 2022 to 2027 has been approved by Cabinet. Based on the press release that was sent out, it consists of 13 segments, and of course, one of them would be the rollout of the CXC exams for January. I wanted to know how much this is going to cost now that the ministry has gotten its allocation, and how is it going to be rolled out? Is it that after we see the rollout in January, we're going to see the other 13, or have they been rolled out already?
The digital transformation program, quite a few of the projects are ongoing. So the e-testing that is being piloted in January is an extension of the actual e-testing that goes on now. So there are a couple of subjects from CXC that we use e-testing for now, but we plan to expand that, and that's why the pilot is happening in January. And the normal fees applicable to CXC are the fees that will apply to the pilot that is taking place in January. In fact, to accommodate this e-exam, more of the e-examinations for the paper one subjects, CXC has adjusted the syllabus so that we have a longer time of the January exam to ensure that we can cover all of the e-papers. So the major investment really would be in the devices, and of course the schools have been resourced, the schools that have been chosen by the districts, 2 schools per district at least, they have been resourced with devices so that if the students' devices are not being used, the school can accommodate the students. So it's no great extra cost at this time. The ongoing projects would be the e-book procurement, the numeracy solution procurement. You would have seen the SEA online portal being rolled out. So quite a few of the digital transformation projects are being rolled out. The optimization of the school learning management system, the resourcing of the ministry with staff in the educational technology unit, a new unit that has been developed, that has been done and is continuing. So the digitization of student records on the school management system, all of that is ongoing at this time.
Right. And Minister, do you have an approximate cost? Like, I know you just said it's not going to be anything additional, but do you have an approximate cost in terms of how much this is going to cost?
In terms of CXC examinations themselves, the ministry spends quite a lot of money on examinations. We have fees to CXC. that would be in the region of about 11 million per year, and that's just the fee that we pay as a country. And then, of course, there are the fees for the examinations, the hiring of invigilators, the movement of examination papers from that we import, and then, of course, the export of examination papers. And so the conduct of CXC examinations can carry us up into close to 100 million, give or take, per year.
Okay. Per year, okay. Now, when we think of education, because the allocation is for education and training, and so when we think of training, is there any sort of consideration for teachers to be trained in this fiscal year? And also on that note, in terms of retooling teachers, and as far as even promotion goes for those teachers who need to move up in the ranks?
Well, the Ministry of Education usually has a robust teacher training program. And this year, what we have done is that we have pulled everything together that's going to be done for term 1. And that will soon be published for teachers this week, as a matter of fact, so that they can see exactly what trainings are coming up and how they can plan to be a part of the trainings. Because we want to have a more systematic approach to the teachers being able to choose what trainings they want to be offered and how they want to partake in that. With respect to promotional training, the ministry has collaborated with UB for many years, and it has been expanded to USC and so on the DPED, the postgraduate diploma in education, that teachers usually would is an in-service training, and they would usually enroll in this, apply for it, and once selected, they would use that. And that is the training that is required to be promoted to head of department and so on. So that is ongoing for this academic year as well.
And Minister, as we discuss the digital age, so we have these students going back out to schools. We also have the devices that's also going to be helping these students. But one of the things I didn't hear mentioned a lot was that focus on special needs. The students in the classroom who have that learning disability, will any consideration be given for them in this fiscal year?
Every fiscal year, that is a part of the budget. The Student Support Services Division was established specifically to deal with those students, to ensure that we have staffing to accommodate the needs. We have over 700 staff in that unit. When you take into consideration the school social workers, the guidance counselors, because special needs, of course, deals with students who have disabilities, learning disabilities, as well as psychosocial issues. So it's broader than just the category of students that we always think about. So there are also student aides, and those student aides are specifically assigned to students who have disabilities, physical disabilities, as well as learning disabilities. We have over 400 student aides, and we require more. We have partnered with the OJT to be able to supply more aides as we go in, because there's an increasing demand for student assessment, for student aides, and so that's one of the areas that we are working on, to increase the number of staff that are actually on the ground to help our students. And as a matter of fact, you would have seen $50 million allocated in this budget this year for remedial education. And a part of that is ensuring that we get on more persons to interact directly with the students who need the help, the special needs students. That includes all the wide range of special needs.
Right. And I like that you mentioned the remedial classes, because that was actually one of my questions. With the remedial classes, yes, we're going to be targeting those students with the special needs, but also is it also going to only focus on the students for the SEA, or those who are moving up from Form 1 to Form 2 with that new proficiency exam that was introduced, or are there other things that is going to be considered with this $50 million allocation?
There are quite a number of things that we would like to include under this allocation. It is the vacation revision programs, and the report of that program is going to go to Cabinet in the next 2 weeks, and a decision will be made based on the recommendations of the principals as to whether we broaden it or whether we keep it as what it was, which would be students transitioning from primary into secondary school. With respect to that $50 million, though, there are a number of things that are being implemented in 26 schools that it will assist us in funding, as well as it will be applied to be looking at about 25 to 30 primary schools which feed the secondary schools and need that level of attention. So one of the areas would be human resource in terms of support officers dedicated to the schools to help our students. We've been visiting schools, and one of the things that principals have been saying is that psychosocial support for the students is even more important and critical now after the COVID, because a lot of them are having problems to transition back to the classroom, despite the efforts of the existing cadre of school social workers and guidance counselors. So hiring some more staff to deal specifically with the schools, ensuring putting training in place, the positive behavior management and encouragement, those are the strategies that we want to focus on. And teacher training, of course, we want to look at parental programs and community programs, because the principals have said to us that even though you do things in the school, we need to target the parents, and some of the parents who you don't see, we need to target the communities, because when the students leave school, sometimes they lose what they have learned in the school because they go back into the communities. So reaching out from the school into the community, targeting the parents, targeting the psychosocial development of the students, bringing persons into the school to speak to the students, to inspire, motivate them, targeting student support personnel into the schools, looking at educational materials for the schools. All of this is a part of what we are intending to do using that 50 million, and that's just a snapshot of it.
Right. And on the other side, there was another 50 million that was allocated for the adjustment of the gate criteria. Do you think that's going to be enough, or are you seeing maybe going back to cabinet when the mid-year budget review comes for an additional supplement?
Based on what the trends over the years and the data over the years, the 50 million should be sufficient to cover the additional students who would now have the ability to apply for their baccalaureate certification. But certainly, we will see how that goes, because we would have to give some more guidelines to persons with respect to applying for that, and that should be available by the end of this week, early next week, some clear guidelines as to exactly how that is to be applied, so that the citizens and the public will be clear and they'll be able to make their plans with respect to complete in their bachelor's degrees.
And Minister, what other projects are there in the pipeline that we can look forward to with this allocation?
The projects, I think, the main projects have already been planned and are being implemented. So the allocation will be used to further fund the progress of these projects over the next year. A main thing is the supply of more digital devices to the schools. What would have happened in 2020 with the closure of schools? A lot of the devices that were lodged at the schools that would have been a part of the e-testing program, they were distributed from secondary schools into primary schools to teachers and so. So we now have to replace that bulk of computers, and we have been given the allocation in this year's budget to do that. And we're also going to be, of course, looking at some more purchase of devices for students who whose parents can't afford and need assistance in supplying devices to them, ensuring that the e-classroom gets up and we have our e-classrooms running on a phased basis. We may not have all running at the same time, but certainly we're making great progress in getting those e-classrooms up, completing the digitizing of the student records. Those things are critical because that's the fundamental basis upon which we shall be able to make the strides in digital transformation at the ministry. So one of our main areas of focus would be digital transformation, and the budget will allow us to go forward with that, because that will be the nexus of a lot of the different improvements that we require across the Ministry of Education.
Right. Now, Minister, one of the conversations that came up, especially as we celebrated our 60th year of anniversary, was the lack of, I would say, sort of cultural and historical context in the schools as it relates to the curriculum. Moving forward, is the ministry looking at changing the curriculum to include more local historical content, so that this generation that's coming up will know exactly, you know, where we came from, sort of, so that we will know where we're going in sort of that context?
I think it's not so much a lack of content in the curriculum as it is an attempt to focus what is already there and to highlight it. So I have asked the staff of the ministry to come up with a patriotism policy, pulling together all the things that are already done in the syllabus, and with a focus on how do we promote patriotism in our country? And so they are working on that now. By early October, I should have a draft of that. And it will include things that are already done, but it also will include things that are there but observed mainly in the breach. So simple things like a school must start with singing the anthem or playing the anthem, and students must be taught some of our national songs. They must say the pledge every day. These are things that have been circularized many, many years ago, but they have not necessarily been observed in all schools. So it is a bringing back of what we would have done in the past, and also looking specifically at pulling together what parts of the curriculum speak to patriotism, ensuring that that is done. What parts of school practice and operation speak to the inculcation of patriotism and nationalism, cultural heritage and cultural identity. So, and cultural confidence, as a matter of fact. So we are pulling together a policy, and that will identify if there are gaps. And where there are gaps, we will take means to address that. But certainly in the music program as well, the primary school music program, which we are going to cabinet to have approved soon as well. And that's part of what we intend to get started back. It fell off, of course, during COVID, but we get started back. And that is also another avenue by which we can, inculcate the cultural confidence in our young citizens. So that patriotism policy, that primary school music program, that's something to look forward to during this academic year, and we'll be working very assiduously on getting those things implemented.
Nice. I think that's a positive step. A lot of people will be looking forward to that. Now, Minister, I heard the primary school, I heard the secondary school, and of course we had the adjustment of the gate criteria for the university students. But I'm not hearing much about the ECCE schools. Do you have any plans for this coming up in the new fiscal year?
The plans for the ECC would be to ensure we do have some ECC schools that are opening this year. We're able to open about 3 or 4 of the ECCE centers that had not previously operated. And so the plan for the ECC area is to increase the capacity of the schools that we have, the public schools. What we have noticed is that with the COVID-19 downturn, there's been a lot of demand for the public ECCE schools. Of course, those are the free ones. And so to increase the capacity there, it would mean that we have to maximize the teaching staff, so that, because of course, at ECCE level, there's a very strict adherence to the ratios of teacher to student. So we have to have enough teachers to engage enough students so that we can increase the capacity. So that would be one of the main areas of focus, increasing capacity so that we can accommodate more students into the public ECCE system.
Right. And Minister, finally, I wanted to get your thoughts on the injunction that was filed against TUTA with their protest action, more so the fact that they may plan more protest action as wage negotiations continue. I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
The fact is, and I'm not going to speak too much about it because this is really the Attorney General Administrative Labor's realm, but I don't think we are not understanding the fact that the negotiations, everybody has a position with respect to the negotiations, but there are reasons why teachers are classed as essential workers. And so therefore, the action that was taken really is just a part of the law. And that was all that was happened. The law was enforced. And as we go forward, we look forward to the amicable resolution of this situation. In negotiation periods, these things are par for the course. And so we look forward to this being resolved, because I can tell you at the end of it, and at the crux of the matter would be the students who have this level of uncertainty. And that is something that we don't want to encourage, because they've been through a very difficult time with COVID. We've seen the results of that. So we want them to really settle down and settle in. So I look forward to the amicable resolution of the negotiations that are taking place now, that we can really get down to the business of teaching and learning.
Right. Well, Dr. Gadsby-Dolly, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Now Morning Show. And we look forward to the debate, the budget debate, when it begins in Parliament. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
You too. And that was Education Minister Dr. Nyan Gadsby-Dolly just giving a general overview about the budget allocation. Remember, they were given the biggest chunk of the pie, $7.45 billion they were given for their budget. And the minister was talking about things like digital transformation. I love the patriotic part as well that she mentioned in terms of having that patriotism policy. And so we look forward to see how that is going to unfold within the next fiscal year. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. Stay
Stay with us.
Education, education, this is the foundation.
12 and under. Sundays at 5 p.m. on TTT and TTT Live Online.
Saturday, October 1st, it's the grand finals of You Got Talent. A spectacular showcase of voice, music, dance, and performance art. As 16 dynamic performers vie for the grand prize of $15,000. Who will it be? Join us for an evening of performing arts excellence at the grand finals of You Got Talent. Don't miss it.
My name is Sharon Gordon, and it is my duty to welcome you. Hub City Sound presents the 7th Annual Caribbean Festival right here in New Brunswick. We're in a new home here at Recreation Park. Put your hands together, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
It's good that we're back here today and we want to celebrate our culture, our heritage. We have good food, we have good music, we're dancing.
We're having a great time, and we have a lot of exciting acts out here.
It gets bigger and better each and every year. It has all the traditional Caribbean foods and music and dance. So if that's what you're looking for, this is the place you want to be.
On a Wednesday morning, and you are watching the Now Morning Show. I'm Ianka Will, and Raucus is with me as we get into the perspective of that of the Chaguanas Chamber of Commerce by speaking with the president, Richie Sukai. Mr. Sukai, welcome and good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to your viewing and listening audience. Thank you for having me again.
All right. So, well, we all heard the budget, right? I mean, tell us the Chamber's response. I mean, what did you guys take from it, and what's your view on it going forward?
It was quite an interesting budget. We understand the balancing act the minister and the government has, especially at a time like this. We do have increased energy prices, which we're enjoying. However, I believe he did try to offset the cost and the burden the population is going to bear, especially with the increase in the fuel prices, right? This is one thing, because when you do increase your fuel prices, commodity prices across the board, and I don't, I mean, although he said that he just raised diesel by 50 cents, and it's being the main driver for the transportation of goods and services, however, I know prices are going to go up, right? And it is up to the owners and the business associations to understand, like, okay, yes, this is not an opportunity to look to price gouge at the same time, that we have to be mindful of what everybody is going through. So recently I went, I said, let me just stop and get a cheese-based sandwich, and I was surprised at the price of a cheese-based sandwich, which used to be, again, $15, which I think was high. Then it went to $18. Now it's about $21, $22, and it's going even higher. Right?
Gourmet cheese sandwich.
And you know, so again, it's all where you shop, because there are some places there are a lot, but it was accessible, so I stopped and it just shows that there is a price disparity across the board, and it is up to the owners of the businesses to be able to, you know, not look at it as an opportunity to make an extra dollar, but to also see how we can help the population come out of what we're going through right now. Either way, the government has a drive to be able to cap the fuel subsidy at $1 billion, right? And we understand this. Whether or not now is the time to introduce it, again, he took into consideration that he went ahead and do it, and internationally, what people are paying at the pumps.
We still pay less than
exactly. That. You know, if you look at what Panama is paying, or even other countries that share somewhat similar economies as us, right? They pay higher prices. So we understand what he's trying to, or what the government is, their aim at, right? And his balancing act in trying to offset it, you know, by moving the taxable income bracket and, you know, moving it, I think it was from
it was about 7,000 to 7,500 now.
Right. Giving those individuals a little more spending power, right? Which hopefully, again, where, you know, it could have the multiplier effect taking place and, you know, trickle down to the economy. But again, this is all well and good in terms of what we see here. But I will tell you, the population as of right now is reeling from COVID-19, is still reeling, trying to come out of it. The people don't have that spending power as before. The economy isn't moving as how we want it to do. So what's the solution? Where do we go forward? And that's the next question, you know, is how do we really transition or work with what we have, you know, to see us through this and improve Trinidad and Tobago going forward.
I kind of sorry. You know, you mentioned that, you know, the population is reeling, right? And I see brand new Porsche Cayennes on the road every day. You know, I see these ridiculous cars that I know are not even small. They're not even under $500,000. So we be real, right? And I keep seeing more and more of those on the road. So I wonder if we have two different societies in Trinidad, or maybe three or four.
And again, I'm happy that you brought that up. Look at and you say every day you're seeing a new Cayenne on the road, or a new luxury vehicle.
A new luxury vehicle.
Right. Look at the population look at the population that is acquiring those, right? And to be honest with you, if you pass in any of those showrooms, they're scanty, right? They don't have stock. So those who will have the ability to afford and want to get into something like that, all well and good. But I'm talking generally, those who drive normal vehicles and an everyday commute, everyday commuting basis, they are suffering. I'll tell you this. I mean, I run a service company, my own company, where we see customers from different demographics, and they will come, instead of doing the full service or look to even try and rectify whatever they have to do, they'll want to just do the most minimal just to save costs right now. And I understand where they come from. Now, the whole supply chain issue is also a huge factor that's affecting the costs. Because although, yes, you want to provide, one, you don't have the items in stock. Two, you know, the prices have gone up. Logistics costs has gone up. So it is a balancing act. Now that you have logistics costs that is worldwide has gone up, you have shortages. So there's price competition going on in a global scale, right? We're just a speck of dust. So what we're getting here is actually the higher prices that we're paying, right? And this is what our population is facing around. I do believe is that as Trinidad and Tobago transition into a new era, because I believe a new era is upon us, where we have to rethink how we do our business, not business as normal, right? Given the ministries these large sum of allocations, I mean, education, I'm happy to see that they got a fair, the lion's share of the budget this time. It is not just about pumping money. It is more about how you manage it. I know recently we heard comments, you can't manage the government or even the country like a business. However, I disagree to a point like that, because when you, as a business owner, we look at our expenditures and our incomes. We look how to maximize every investment that we make so that we can get full
better returns.
Better returns, correct.
But those returns you're talking about are all financial returns,
it
right?
doesn't necessarily be financial returns, because if you invest in your employees in the right way, you will get productivity, right? So it's the same thing as you look at the public sector, right? And they're asking for. However, you know what? I will sit down with them and say, listen, but right now, if you check public sector confidence, if we go inside any bureaucracy we have to face, why are you telling me I must give you more than 4%? Where's it coming from? I give you more now, right? Is it that you're going to give me better service, right?
You're asking the question.
And this is the thing.
But that's what it boils down to.
And this is where negotiations need to come in. This is where the unions, I understand the importance of unions, but where are they, what are they asking? Are they just going to squeeze to fill their coffers?
Well, granted that you've asked these questions, you've also put forward some possibilities previously, talking about diversifying the economy. Previously, you alluded to things like, food, drugs, and music and tourism being things that we should invest in for diversification.
Correct.
Have those perspectives changed? Do you see, now that the budget has been shared with us, that there should be different emphasis?
If you look at it, they did have a allocation towards agriculture, especially getting the youth of today into agriculture. I still don't think that's enough, because although we have like certain things like increase fees to those who do like illegal logging or quarrying, illegal quarrying and stuff, right? There's an issue there, because they can tie it up in the courts, and that's what happens. Yes, the fee is there. You'll be charged XYZ, but when the charges, how many of them are actually charged? Right,
and then the process,
because our judicial system is our judicial system is flawed. Many times you hear, the police service, the TTPS don't even have the resources to even go after some of these individuals. So yes, that is all well and good. I'm happy to know that. I'm happy to know that the charge for pollution has gone up, especially. I mean, if you
but we still face an implementation problem.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
We've been facing that challenge for years now, for decades now. We've been facing this implementation problem. How do we fix that?
Well, perhaps a suggestion on the private and public sector merger might be an answer to that question.
And that's how we have to look forward to have that sort of PPP arrangement where public-private sector need to come together to be able to bolster Trinidad and Tobago in a positive direction.
Of course.
I mean, it's sad to see that our oceans, we have beautiful oceans, waters, right? And yet we tend to pollute them. If you go Chaguaramas, I remember, as you go down Chaguaramas, it used to be such a touristic, calm. You have people used to kayak and all different sorts. Yes, they still do. But look at the conditions in the water, and look what is going right around it. It's like we're looking everywhere through this country to pump oil from our ground, and not saying like, okay, listen, this is the area for that, and this is our touristic area. Let's preserve it. Let's maintain Trinidad and Tobago and maintain the beauty that what was God given to us. That's a huge issue to me. Yeah.
I hear you. I want to come back to Chaguaramas. So they went Chaguaramas for now, right? And we come back to Chaguaramas a little bit, because one of the things that was mentioned in the budget was the increase in property tax, which is said now to be able to collect and be able to affect the area that it's collected from. How is that going to affect the borough?
So once again, is another tax, right, that the population will have to bear, right? We understand there's a residential property tax that will be implemented in the first phase. our issue with the property tax is not the actual structure. I mean, when you really check it, it'll be minuscule how much you're going to pay, and that's once for the year. However, is where the monies are going to be allocated. Right now, it's going into a consolidated fund. And where's the transparency that each one of the corporations or sectors are going to get their fair share of allocation?
But now you're saying that it's going into to be able to directly, that's the first thing that they want to change, right?
Right.
So then are we looking forward to seeing that change being the change that we need?
Right. Now, if that's the case, is once it's there and once transparency is there, then it's all about how you manage that fund to ensure that the population, the area, gets the benefit of having property tax, right? In other words, that tax should go to the road rehabilitation, which we so need, and which I'm happy to hear about the new agency that at least they're showing some effort towards repairing the roads and the current conditions they're in, because you could have whatever car, trust me.
Cayennes are going to go through it too.
Repairable roads.
But tell me, I mean, for me, I still am not clear on that, for example, right? So I want to know the difference between why it is a regional corporation can't continue to do it versus having what's the benefits of having this new state agency?
But I guess that's where the state is now going to allocate resources to this particular agency that's going to work, I guess, with the borough corporations to ensure that, okay, they don't have to go through the Ministry of Works and all the red tape, and whether it's pure program or any one of the other programs, but go to this one that is directly involved with secondary roads rehabilitation, which I'll tell you, those secondary roads, you might think that it is, not necessary, and in terms of repairing and look at the major roads. However, given the amount of traffic that we have today,
everybody using the back road.
Exactly, right. So if the back roads are, the infrastructure of these roads are improved and they're better and they're efficient, I'm pretty sure we could filter traffic. And given Chicanas is traffic central, I mean, I would love to see something, because we have many roads that could just do with little repairs
and
make big impacts. Correct.
Yes, that is a fact.
Right.
I was like, dog.
So this, coming back to your question, I believe maybe this could be a faster way that the funds could be allocated. Because remember, I sat into meetings in the Borough Corporation with Ministry of Works discussing these issues about road repairs, traffic situation. And you'll always have the banter back and forth. Well, the Borough Corporation, all you're supposed to have this, and all you have allocation. And then the Borough Corporation, well, we have no money, and going back and forth like that, right? So given that, hopefully this intermediary company that has been set up by the government,
focus, because it has that focus, that's what makes the difference.
And they have a budget,
right?
Although it's small right now, hopefully it's enough to at least kickstart. And if they see some benefit out of it, it could go. But again, we have to try. We have to start somewhere.
I like the optimism. And you generally always seem to be very solutions oriented, and also spoke on, in terms of allocations and even regularizing small and macro enterprises being regularized previously as well. I'm revisiting a little bit just because we are now seeing actual allegations, we have actual figures. Have your thoughts or perspective changed on this, in that the reason for them not regularizing being essentially the cost of it being
the bureaucracy behind it,
Well, we still on that.
And I will think we are still on the same page, because a lot of them have opted out. I mean, and looking at the small and micro, right? Instead of having to go through the whole process of getting audited accounts and don't get me wrong, they should have some sort of formal training into these things, because when you understand that if you go into the bank and you're going to open just a simple bank account for your company, they want a bunch of information
and a plan.
Exactly. So they want to see a cash flow for the period, and at least these basic business skills or skills that they should have at the very beginning should be given to them, so that they will know, okay, listen, for me to grow from here to here, at least let me get these things, and they'll understand it better, right? I guess, and the government does have an initiative in terms of educating the population, right? And I don't blame them at all. It's up to the business owners who say, listen, I want to take the chance to start regularizing my company. I want to take my company from this to this, and then maybe in 10 years' time to this, and grow it. We have great, innovative, and I will say, niche companies here in Trinidad and Tobago. right, that could do well on a both regional and international scale. They just need the guidance on how to go forward.
Some need guidance, some need support, some need both. But either way, I want to thank you for joining us this morning and sharing your thoughts. Rishi Sukai, President of the Chaguanas Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And Budget 2022-2023. I mean, we're going to continue conversations here on the Now Morning Show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
We'll take a break and come back with more. Stay tuned.
Many of you know this show as the Pop Show.
Thank you for popping with us, putting a smile on your face. We're making these moments and this reality that we're all in a little bit lighter and giving you something to take away of a moment in your quiet time just to reflect and just to bust a laugh. So thank you for allowing us into your living rooms.
I come for this work, sign me up. I come for this work, sign me up. I come for this work, sign me up. I come for it, boss lady. I come for this work.
It has pimentos and it has cilantro. That's what it has. They're going to use that.
That's cilantro.
It's the ingredients they give you.
Penny,
you can't decide what
in the backyard.
That is right here in my backyard.
Hi, Penny. How you doing? Bang, 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 badang. Bang, 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 badang. Bang, 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 badang. You want to lick a thing? Let me go do it. We go tinggy, licky, tinggy, licky, tinggy, licky. Israel vibes and we beat in iron right here in the back. Jam. Hey, go shut in the kitchen. Grab a pot and then start beating. You hear me? She's business. It's your birthday, baby.
If it's your birthday today, we say happy birthday to you. I hope that you have yourself a fantastic day, the 28th day of September. Kimberly has birthdays today, y'all. Kimberly.
The second year has been good to me. The second half of the year.
The second
half of the year has been good to me. So, guys, I made a boo-boo. On Saturday, my goddaughter celebrated her birthday. While I reached out to her, I did not do it publicly. Jada, I love you. I know you had a happy birthday, but I'm publicly saying it here. Happy birthday to you, Jada, my god baby girl. I know you had an amazing weekend. Belated birthday. Right?
Jada, don't worry, I'm gonna go for it.
Searching into today, I have 2 birthdays. I want to say a special happy birthday going out to Shakira Surratt. Shakira and I would have gone to, do you know her?
Shakira Surratt Paul.
Right, well, yes. Shakira, there she is, yeah.
Hey, girl,
so Shakira and I went to school together, and I wanted to wish her a happy birthday. You're going to hear it a second time from Ruckus, but this is
No, you do it now, I don't skip it. I send this picture, big up Shakira.
So happy birthday, Shakira. We appreciate you here. I hope you have a great day. And I'm also saying happy birthday going out to Leon Holder, another colleague of mine. We would have done our degree together. So Leon, happy birthday to you.
All right, let's keep it going. I want to say happy birthday going out to Nicole Green, who celebrates her birthday today. Nicole is, I don't know.
Happy birthday, Nicole!
Awesome. She's just awesome sauce.
I met Nicole on the set of the Let's Talk Trinidad and Tobago production. And
she's like production assistant of the year.
Correct.
Of the decade.
She does a lot of these right now.
Yeah.
But Nicole is one of those persons who, when we had that 3 a.m. call time, used to make it a little bit easier.
Okay.
We truly appreciate
Nicole brought snacks to me on my last
She
shoot.
did, every time. Every time.
She sends it, she asks in advance. She's like, what snacks do you like?
Yeah.
And she will go out of her way to get it for you.
She's the best.
Nice.
So happy
Big up
birthday,
Nicole, happy
But that's
birthday.
because it's a Libra too.
Moving along swiftly, let me say happy birthday going out to our brother I went to school with a long time ago, Mr. France Roberts. Happy birthday to you, France. I hope that you have yourself a fantastic day today and you know, make good choices.
I look like a good choice pick at all, no France. I look like a good choice pick, but happy birthday nonetheless.
Jacob Cino, let me say good morning to you, sir. Hope that you have a happy birthday today and you enjoy it to the
Quite a
fullest.
distinguished photo there.
Distinguished, ain't he?
Jacob looks like he's looking forward to the future.
He's actually a yoga instructor and a DJ and a bunch of other things.
Oh, that's quite the combination.
Yeah, right? I'm going to skip Shakira because she doesn't get big up already. So happy birthday again, Shakira. Big up you. Another Jacob Collymore, who I went to school with as well, celebrates his birthday today. So Jacob Collymore, happy birthday to you, sir. Hope that you have a great day today and enjoy it to the max. Also, my cousin Gabrielle Rajkumar celebrates her birthday today. So, Gabby, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, girl.
Hope that you have a great day coming from, you know, the whole family and thing. Also, let me take a moment to say happy birthday going out to Angel Whitaker. Celebrating their birthday today. Angel, happy birthday to you. Hope that you have a great day today and make the most of your birthday.
Yeah, and anybody celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but Auntie V is actually watching us now. Good morning, Auntie V.
Auntie V does watch you every morning.
Listen now, holding down the fort with 12 and under, so good morning. And a special good morning goes out to Mavis John, who I had the pleasure of meeting yesterday, and we had a nice little conversation. So good morning, Auntie Mavis. Have a good one as well.
Yeah, I knew he was coming as Auntie Mavis.
And everybody who's watching us, we appreciate you all the time. A special good morning to you as well.
But let's say special good morning to some of the winners at the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival. But before I do, I almost forgot. Kellyanne, happy birthday. This one comes out from Herdis, our very own. And we hope you have a fantastic birthday today. I believe your cousins. God bless your soul, girl.
Oh, wow.
You don't get a big family.
Wow.
Wow.
And Angel Whitaker, again, happy birthday to you. Doll. Oh, sir.
I know he.
So it's Angel.
I know, saying he lives in Simeon Road.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Your neighbor?
Yeah, kind of.
Put any man business on.
Happy birthday.
And I apologize. I assumed Angel instead of Angel. Yeah. My mistake. Happy birthday. But I was telling you guys about the film festival winners, and some of the big winners are actually Trinbagonian, but of course there are a lot of regional films as well to broaden your horizons. So some of which I can't pronounce.
Lo que se herda.
Oh, okay. I wish you all saw the little head. But particularly, I want to say congratulations to the winner of the Best Student Film Award. That would be Take Care. Particularly because there was a hard drive to have young creators, not just young creators, but young creators who are doing film with their mobile devices and shorts as well. And the turnout was incredible. The competition was stiff. So congratulations to the creators behind Take Care, a very moving film that I encourage everyone to go see. The Best Documentary Short was very interesting as well, Strictly to You. It's one of those that you could add to your watch list, but you're going to see a few names that you can literally go to the film festivals, Instagram, Facebook, and of course website to get more details on, because a lot of these details explored some very familiar topics and very relatable ones, including the
You know,
winner of...
the one I heard about that got people really excited was One Handle Clap. We spoke about it here on the show as well, but people were raving about it. That and Cheese were the big numbers.
Of course, Cheese, the opening film for the festival, was one that we actually got the chance to see. And it really was relatable. Ultimately, the story of everybody wanting better for themselves and aspiring to do that by any means necessary. But we will have more options, and you will be able to see them yourselves, just like you could see yourself on TV if you take in the films of this year's film festival. We take a break and come back with more. We still have to tell you how you could get in on that 200,000, well, a couple of thousand.
It's 200 now, it multiply over the course of the last hour.
Listen,
what trouble
stick around and find out what I'm talking about. Now. The Now Morning Show continues.
We easy Minister of Finance.
You never know.
What's going on with you?
Patients that come in with sensitivity and bleeding gums, that's a red flag. I'll definitely recommend new Sensodyne sensitivity and gum because it has dual action. We're already using toothpaste. Why not switch it out for something that's going to help reduce both sensitivity and the gum issues?
It's D-Best Republic Day sale at D-Best Toys. Visit us in-store for our Republic Day sale and get up to 20% off on selected items. Sale runs from September 24th to October 2nd. We've got items for everyone from newborns to adults. Come on down to our stores at Forces Flagship McBean and shop brands like Graco, Baby Alive, Barbie, Hot Wheels, Carter's, Baby Einstein, Disney, Amazon, Lego, Leapfrog, Cocomelon, LOL Surprise, VTech, Old Navy, National Geographic, Paw Patrol, and Ride-Ons. Or pick up items like strollers, drones, and hoverboards. And don't forget to shop the best for your baby from brands like Graco, Gerber, Carter's, Fisher-Price, Baby Einstein, Dr. Brown's, and Baby Gap. You don't want to miss this. Shop in store at D-Best Toys this Republic Day.
And under. Sundays at 5 p.m. on TTT and TTT Live Online.
हंस लो, मुस्कुरा लो जितना मुस्कुराना है. हमारे यहाँ कहावत है, जो जितना मुस्कुराता है उसे बाद में उतना ही रोना पड़ता है.
The Mother Church of the Anglican Diocese suffered significant damage during the earthquake of 2018. Efforts are underway to raise funds to restore this national heritage site. You are invited to make your donations with monthly deposits at any branch of the First Citizens Bank, account number 2696950, Marval Road Branch, in the name of the Incorporated Trustees of the Anglican Holy Trinity Cathedral Restoration.
TTT News, delivering more news more often to more people. Follow us on social media at TTT Live Online. Log on to www.ttt.live.
On the instructions of the Prime Minister, Dr. the Honourable Keith Rowley, to allocate the sum of $210 million in the estimates of expenditure for fiscal 2023 as a special payment to be distributed to health workers in Trinidad and Tobago.
And that was the Minister of Finance, Colm Imbert, in the Parliament on Monday, just announcing an ex gratia payment of $210 million to the healthcare workers, to over 20,000 healthcare workers. And so joining us to get their thoughts on this is President of the Trinidad and Tobago Registered Nurses Association, Mr. Edie Stewart. Mr. Stewart, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Thanks for having me. Pleasant good morning to you and your listeners.
Now, initial thoughts on the $210 million for healthcare workers.
Well, it would have been a statement both the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister would have made approximately a month ago. So it wasn't new news to us. And still, it is short on some details relevant to exactly how it will be distributed, how it will be divided, and when it would be received. I guess we will get that when the Health Minister makes his presentation. But indeed, it is welcome news for the association and its members. It recognizes the work they would have put in over the last 2 years and beyond. Generally, nursing personnel are not really recognized for their contribution to national service. And one would have seen it again on Republic Day 4 days ago, where not a single active nurse would have been recognized for their service during the pandemic. Otherwise, you had a number of doctors being recognized for their service over the last 2 years in particular. So it really demonstrates that generally the recognition given to nursing personnel and the wider health sector has not really been forthcoming, really exclusively for a smaller group. So we are thankful for this gesture, this ex gratia payment going forward.
Right. Now, I know you may have some thoughts in terms of how it's going to be divided, because as you rightly said, the announcement was made, but there was no follow-up in terms of who was going to get how much of the pie and that sort of thing. Do you have any initial thoughts on how it should be divided?
Well, from the association standpoint and what we are getting from our members is something similar, because this is not unique to Trinidad and Tobago. First, let me say that. This is something that several Caribbean countries have already done, and several international countries have already done. So this is nothing new. And what the other countries did was actually match the person's salary. And therefore, and it was really given around Christmas of 2020 and 2021. So this was paid out a long time to some of our Caribbean colleagues. So if it goes along that line, matching the salary, one would feel comfortable that that is reasonable. Again, this is not only for nursing personnel, this is for the wider health sector. However, the association understands persons' perception, some of our members, that it may be a little unfair if they are given basically the same amount as everyone else, because nursing personnel, clinical staff really have been on duty 24/7. They have been there in the trenches working alongside these COVID patients constantly. It was really a nightmare during that time, especially during these spikes. And really a number of the administrative staff and some of the other clerical staff, what have you, would have had the benefits of working reduced hours, working from home at some times. So to give both parties, clinical and administrative staff, the same amount, or even in some instances more, I could understand how some nurses may feel a little aggrieved at that. But nonetheless, we are definitely, and our members are definitely looking forward to this distribution. Everyone is faced with tough economic times. We're seeing the rising, escalating cost of gas, of food stuff, of housing. Nothing seems to be going down. So any additional funds that can contribute to the household budget would definitely be welcome. But we would really want to remind the finance minister and the government as a whole that we hope this does not negate the outstanding monies owed to healthcare workers and particularly.
Well, I was just about to ask that, Mr. Stewart, because I was wondering if it is this sort of fund, this allocation, will in any way, shape, or form soften some of the public service members in terms of that 4% that's currently offered by the CPO.
Well, even before the 4%, that is something being negotiated. And actually, it's not even being negotiated for nursing personnel or anyone else within the regional health authorities. We are not actually part of the public service. We are quasi-public service, state authorities. We are contracted workers for the regional health authorities. Our employer is actually the CEO of the authority. So while other groups will go and negotiate with the CPO, really and truly, when there's an RMU, a recognized majority union, they negotiate with the CEO of the authority. And unfortunately, because of the tardiness of the very government also, and their state institution, the Registration, Recognition and Certification Board, who has to grant unions this RMU status to be able to negotiate. Really and truly, there's no RMU within the RHAs, other than MPAD for doctors and NUGFW for daily paid workers, but they came across with their bargaining unit. So it's really a difficult situation, but we are currently owed a number of money that we have already worked for. So besides the ongoing negotiations and negotiations yet to start for the RHAs, we are currently owed money for increments, outstanding increments as a yearly payment to your salary, which has not been forthcoming. We also have been owed gratuity payments for those persons who are on contract. They're supposed to get yearly gratuity or buy and 2 yearly gratuity based on how long their contract. Those have not been forthcoming. Those are 2-3 years outstanding. We are persons who have retired are also being owed pension payments. And with the announcement that it was already forecasted that the NIS age for payments would have been moved forward, and it was finally announced in this budget. We forewarned our members that also now you are not getting your NIS payments till 65, and you already delayed in getting your pension payments. So you have that gap between 60 and 65 where you will find extremely difficult to survive because you have no form of income streams coming in unless you provide it for yourself.
Now, Mr. Stewart, while the Nursing Association is plagued with all of these issues, there was also the issue at the height of the pandemic where the nurses, especially the ones in Tobago, they were leaving in droves because they were going across, they were going abroad to different countries because they were given, more benefits, better salaries, that sort of thing. Do you think this ex gratia payment will encourage them to stay and maybe work in the field rather than going abroad for better opportunities?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would tell you, the only persons right now, nursing personnel, are in the process of leaving, preparing to leave, and leaving and have left. That is all that is happening currently in Trinidad and Tobago. We are in a really frightening situation currently in Trinidad and Tobago, where all our experienced staff are leaving in their numbers. And this ex gratia payment would not stem the tide of that by any stretch of the imagination. It would not even be a thought. So it's just a matter of time before more and more persons leave. We will continue to train more and more nursing personnel. Thankfully, there are 3 registered nursing schools. And it's actually a good opportunity for persons who are unemployed to get involved in nursing because nursing is in demand across the globe. In every country, there's a shortage of nursing personnel. Unfortunately, Trinidad and Tobago has taken a position to ensure they suppress the salaries of nursing personnel to encourage persons to leave. I guess it's a way to reduce employment within the country by allowing just more and more persons to get involved in nursing, and then they are able to migrate. The government is really not doing anything of note to try to stem that tide. I think they basically have resigned to the fact that they cannot keep the nursing personnel anymore, and they're actually making sure their work environment and remuneration is at a low level, so more and more persons will continue to leave. So
Mr. Stewart, what is it going to take to get the nurses to stay? Is it going to take the salaries? Is it going to take better working conditions? I know that you would have mentioned the back pay that they're supposed to receive. What is the issue that is having our nurses going out of the country in droves?
Well, a better question is, what is there that would want you to stay in Trinidad and Tobago for a nurse?
Yeah.
Nursing personnel have been hired on temporary employment, nursing personnel, while the government builds billion-dollar permanent structures, take loans from China, from IDB, all over the world to build permanent structures. They have nursing personnel on temporary employment. 3,400 nursing personnel, almost half of the nursing personnel is on temporary employment. You can leave Trinidad and Tobago today and pick up permanent employment in England as we speak. employment in Saudi Arabia, in Canada, in US. No one is going to stay and work in temporary employment when they have better, more sustainable jobs abroad. The salary, the sign-on bonus that these agencies are offering to nursing personnel is 3 months' salary for a nurse in Trinidad. This is just the sign-on bonus. Before you work a day, you get a sign-on bonus that reflects 3 months' salary. The educational competencies, Trinidad and Tobago is trying to suppress nursing personnel. The Ministry of Education is actually breaking the law by running programs that are not accredited by the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. Abroad, that is standard. Bachelor's degree is the standard for nursing education. There have been several commissions of inquiry over the years, including the last one, highlighting all of the recommendations to improve the quality and standard of nursing and encourage nursing personnel to remain. Not a single recommendation has been fulfilled to date. So there's really nothing. And then we don't even need to get into the issues of crime.
Right.
It's very unsafe to be in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
And the list is long and winding. Nursing personnel cannot afford a house on the open market to nursing personnel. And also, unlike the protective services, who have that allotment of a 10% allotment of the housing stock, nursing personnel is not allowed that under the HTC paradigm.
Yeah.
So there's really
now,
nothing.
Mr. Stewart, I know that you could go on and on, but I have one quick question before we end quickly. What else do you think should have been addressed, or what else were you hoping to see addressed when the budget was read on Monday as it relates to the healthcare sector?
We were hoping, and we still hope, and any Minister of Health statement, that he would speak on the national health insurance system. This is something that could fund the health system to ensure the RHAs are properly resourced, both human resource-wise and infrastructure-wise, consumables, all of these things. Because on a daily basis, when we go to meet these CEOs, they say they have no money, the subvention didn't come in, it's tardy. So one way that was already envisioned and the policy was already taken was the national health insurance systems. Unfortunately, we have not heard anything about that for during this entire term of office of this present administration, even though this was agreed on 2 decades ago since health sector reform. So we hope that is on the agenda, that could bring in the necessary finance to pay for salaries and pay for consumables, which we are so short. Yeah.
Of course, nice. Well, Mr. Stewart, it's always a pleasure to have you. I know we can spend all morning, but unfortunately we have somebody else inside, and I know that you will be looking forward to the budget presentation, the debate actually, as it is being read in the next coming days. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And that was Mr. Edie Stewart, the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Registered Nursing Association, just sharing his expectations from the budget. We have a Yinka on standby to tell us about that $20,000 that somebody can win.
Well, not exactly win. It's a transformational grant. So it means that some work needs to be put in. And how fitting that we are speaking to the operations manager of the Digital Foundation, whose last name is Currency. Yes, I couldn't help. Good morning, Cindy, and welcome to the Morning Show.
Good morning, and good morning, Kimberly.
I'm hoping that Kimberly will chime in as well, because when we talk about content creation, as you were saying, we all are.
Yes.
And a lot of people are elevating the type of content, the actual details of the content. Hell, I know a lot of people are calling for TikToks on the budget so that they would have a more condensed version and more palatable version of how they consume the information. So it's something that everybody can get into, and the Digital Foundation continues to drive innovation. So tell us what drove the inspiration behind this transformational grant.
A birthday.
Really?
We are 10 years this year. It's a big deal for us. It's a huge milestone. And so in celebrating our 10-year anniversary, we decided to do things a little differently. Instead of looking at quantity in terms of number of grants that we issue, we also looked at the value of those grants. So everybody knows about our EPIC initiative, Extraordinary Projects Impacting Communities, and that started off as like a $35,000 TT grant. And this year, to commemorate the 10-year anniversary, we increased that to $100,000.
Nice.
So we had 10 NGOs, $100,000 is $1 million investment.
I remember this. You want the show to talk about it.
Exactly. Everybody.
We remember. We all remember.
Everybody knows about EPIC. And so this year we said, okay, what can we do to expose and involve more of our stakeholders into community transformation, and that's why it's called the Transformation Grant.
Right.
But it's only for media personnel, so journalists that work in TV, print, radio. We're looking at online. We're looking at online and digital as well.
Right.
Social media influencers between 10 to 20K followers, and we are looking to give you some funding, $20,000, to do some kind of transformative community initiative.
Beautiful stuff. It's very much in keeping with the foundation's core of transforming the communities around, or rather within which you operate.
Yes.
But specifically focusing on that digitizing part. It means there's specific criteria that you should at least follow.
There is. So we are looking, I mean, because we've done this so many times, I mean, we do a lot of grants for our NGO partners and our community-based organizations, and we tend to ask for, we're looking for a project that can be implemented within a 4 to 6 week period.
Right.
We want you to think about community impact, beneficiary impact. So think about how many people, as opposed to, I'm going to make a donation to one family, right? Let's see how we can get more people to benefit. We want you to be innovative, so I'm glad that you talked about the creatives that was happening earlier today with the film festival. I mean, just think outside of the box, because we get a lot of that already from our NGO partners, and now having the media as a major stakeholder to be able to be in the middle of this is something that we're really looking forward to.
All right.
One good thing about it is that there are two things we're looking at. We are looking at, number one, when we invite the media to some of the community launches, you know, you guys come at the end, you're here for the ribbon cutting, or, you know, they're opening a new park, and you're able to take your pictures, maybe interview a few people and tell a story from that. But now you are in the middle of it. You are planning the initiative. You're part of the execution. You get to partner with other people from the community. And I think it gives another perspective and a greater appreciation for what goes into community work. We also know that you guys are the storytellers, right? So it's not just about, oh, I got $20,000, but it's how does this $20,000 impact, you know, this community or this particular person, etc., etc. We want you to share that story. We want to share that story with Trinidad and Tobago because we want to inspire other people to also do the same.
Now, a common conversation amongst my peers in terms of media practitioners and even influencers as well is that per capita, Trinidad and Tobago has astounding numbers when it comes to actual influencers and creatives. When we talk about creatives who are doing it full-time, that's a whole different group, versus the ones who are doing it on the side and incredibly successful, and then the digital types who are, as I said earlier, now able to monetize things. So you have set some criteria, persons with specific numbers of followers, and persons using particular types of data as well. What are the details or the specifics of each entrant? Requirements again?
Once you work within the field, in terms of, we're looking at journalists, right? So we're not looking at the technical support staff. We are looking at journalists, the people who we usually invite to go out to the communities. We want you to be part of that change agency now. And I mean, we're not trying to be too picky about what tier. I mean, we said social media influencers because, as you said, that could go on, right? So we tried to cap it at 10 to 20K. And we asked for you, under application form, you can tell us which media organization you represent, whether you're doing it with another community person or with your family, with your church, it really doesn't matter to us. And what we're really looking at is the community initiative as opposed to what your title is. You know what I mean?
Makes sense. Yeah. I was just wondering, Ayinka, what is the follow-through? So we have this project, we launched the project, what's next?
So it's before that. So you get the funding. You tell us, of course, in your application form. That's part of how you win. What exactly the funding is going to be used for. We do our follow-up. So we go in the back scenes and we check out the NGO, make sure the community supports whatever it is that you're doing is really legitimate. And we start to ask you to, now we look for the sustainability as well. It's in the application form because we want you to think about that. We don't want that when you finish, then the project just kind of falls apart, right? But what we do have a lot of, and we try to encourage partnerships and collaboration. So look at the councillors in the area, maybe the MP, look at the other non-profit organizations within the community, and more than likely there's one or two or three, right? And that actually helps with the sustainability. Now, while this project is implemented between, it's like November to December, so it's just in time for Christmas, a great way to end 2022. Right, our financial year starts really early in 2023. So it's another opportunity for us now to follow up to see what's happening in the community group, in the community activity that you've selected and see how we can then maybe put them into our grant funding for next year.
Sounds good.
Yeah?
Tell me more of how we fill in these forms out, how we applying, where
You're ready.
Let's go.
Okay, so the forms are located online. So they're on our social media pages, the Giselle Foundation TT. It's an online application form. We're asking you really basic stuff, your name, contact details. Where is the community? What exactly is the project? Talk to us about sustainability. You know, if you put those things in, it's only 5 grants, and we expect over 100 applications, right? So we're looking at we're looking at sustainability. We're looking at your collaborators. It's only $20,000, so be mindful of the budget. We're not going to give you $20,000 and then tell you go there and do fundraising and find the extra 30. No. So if you have extra money, great. If you have extra people to help you do things, that's really awesome, right? It's really important that the project ends within that 4 to 6 week period. We want to close it off, and we are asking you to tell us, to share an impact story. So it's a 1 to 2 minute impact story, whether it's a radio documentary or feature,
because you
TikTok or whatever. But again, you're not focusing on the money, you're focusing on the people. You guys tell stories best.
Now, I have a question. Does it have to be, well, can it be a new project? Or it has to be something that is in the pipeline already?
It can be a new project, it can be something in the pipeline.
Okay, right.
Because it would lend itself to something that's brand new, because we're looking at the innovation, we're looking at something that enhances, and as you rightfully said, the foundation has had so many beautiful projects that they continue to carry on to add to that cachet, so to speak, is the goal ultimately, yes?
And I think so. I noticed there was somebody made a comment on our social media pages like, oh, it sounds like the Giselle Foundations want journalists to do NGO work, right? But we have to be mindful of that. There's nothing called NGO work. Non-profit organizations do community work. They are part of our nation building. They're part of our development. And we are all part of that. So this is an opportunity. A lot of journalists are already either part of NGOs or they do this work already, or they've been thinking about it. Most of the time they do it out of pocket. This is an opportunity for you to be part of that. To be a social change agent.
And I love the follow through in terms of next year when it could possibly be part of one of the projects under the foundation.
Because it's just 5, so let's see how we can take it through. And in most instances, I mean, the projects that we get usually are pretty sustainable. And you'll see once you start working on it, there's always something else. There are always volunteers. There are always people out here who want to help you take it on, especially if it's a great idea.
So let the great ideas flood in as you head over to the Giselle Foundation's Instagram, Facebook, and website to get more information on how you can sign up. Thank you very much, Ms. Currency, for joining us, for also championing this so passionately. And to those of you who are watching on, we have a competition. Let's go. I can't wait to see the innovations that people bring forward and how they plan out for the 2023 year. Thank you again for joining us.
You're welcome. Applications actually open until the 20th of October. So go now and start applying.
And it's close to her birthday, which is why she's so excited as well.
21st International Anchor Day. Guys, we'll take a break and come back with more. This is the Now Morning Show, Wednesday edition. Stick around.
best Republic Day sale at The Best Toys. Visit us in-store for our Republic Day sale and get up to 20% off on selected items. Sale runs from September 24th to October 2nd. We've got items for everyone from newborns to adults. Come on down to our stores at Forces Flagship McBean and shop brands like Graco, Baby Alive, Barbie, Hot Wheels, Carter's, Baby Einstein, Disney, Amazon, Lego, Leapfrog, Cocomelon, LOL Surprise, VTech, Old Navy, National Geographic, Paw Patrol, and Ride-Ons. Or pick up items like strollers, drones, and hoverboards. And don't forget to shop the best for your baby from brands like Graco, Gerber, Carter's, Fisher-Price, Baby Einstein, Dr. Brown's, and Baby Gap. You don't want to miss this. Shop in store at The Best Toys this Republic Day.
TTT News, nightly at 6:30. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
In studio this morning. Good morning to you, Mr. Kerry John.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago Extension. Good morning.
Always a pleasure to have you on. Brand new track.
Always. Brand new, plastic. yeah.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
All right, this one is called Different.
Called Different, that's right.
Now it is a different kind of song to what we are accustomed to you're singing. Normally in our party, whining and jamming, or you're drinking something.
Correct.
So tell me about the inspiration for this one. You fall in love or something?
No, well, love is a part of me, I mean, Kerry John has dealt with everybody love.
Right.
But apart from that, the song was brought to me by a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was recommended to me by a good friend named Jason Lee, the Lollipop Man, everybody knows.
Yeah.
So, within that said and done now, the song was written by Daryl Jervis.
Yeah.
And the song came to me. When I heard the song, I was like, yeah. I was a little iffy about it because it's a different side, different as you say.
Yeah.
But I say there's a side of me I could reveal to the people because a lot of people don't know I could sing like that.
Mm-hmm. But it's not for me. For me, it's not just you singing because I mean we've heard you sing. You have songs where you're singing and you are the singer in the group, and right?
Strange enough, a lot of people say they hear a different side of me. They never hear that vocal side.
I think that is how you're using your vocals, right?
Correct.
So you're using it now to tell a love story.
Correct is right.
Was that a different process than what you would normally go through when you're singing a song or you're recording and that kind of stuff?
Slightly different because you see you have to come into character with the song now where you're singing, you have to put yourself in the mix,
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of own the song then.
Yeah.
Although it was written by somebody else, I own the song, make it a part of me, and I went and I execute.
Is there a process for that? Where you say, all right, you give me the song, I like the song, I'm gonna get into the song. How you got into this song in particular?
Well, there was a demo presented to me first.
Right.
So when I heard the demo, I was like, all right, well I know I could take it up a notch. I know what I could do with my vocal when I do it back. So.
But in terms of the sentiment, because you're talking about something very, very specific in the song. You and she have a different kind of energy. So
It actually, you know, it's some place that I've been before, so I could have related and put myself into that situation.
Imitated life. That is the part I was trying to get to.
So Gary, most definitely.
How have things been in general for you since coming out of the pandemic? Or I mean, you're kind of still in it, but we're coming out. How are things looking for you as an artist, recording, getting ready for Carnival 2023, that kind of stuff?
Well, so far, so good, you know. I must say the Almighty Father smiled on me. So having a bright Carnival coming, a lot of things to come. I wouldn't reveal everything right now.
Nah, you had to come back to
this is one of the first and I had to come back in.
Yeah.
But, you know, fair enough. I can't complain. You know, I think it's been rough, not just for me, but everybody in the industry and out of the industry. So it's just all about making it happen, making it work.
Just finding ways to make it work. How you feeling? How's it feeling again on the ground about Carnival 2023?
I feel confident. I feel like it's something brand new. Like like everybody that's excited. After 2 years, you know, we're excited to see what 2023 have to offer.
Is there any level of excitement for Tobago Carnival in October?
Tobago Carnival kind of hit me unexpected, but I think next year,
you're coming for them.
Real thing.
This
year, they're breaking the ice, but next year will be different.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kerry John is in studio with us, and of course, you had to give me one before.
Of course. And I must say, shout to the person that I collab with, which is Asha Otto. She's Antigua, and also big up the producer, Smilers.
What was Asha's role?
Well, she sang the second verse in it.
Okay. So, all right. And the producer is who?
Smilers is his name. Antigua. It's an Antigua production. So big up to Antigua.
So is it that Daryl Juve made that link in terms of the islands, or you had that link before and you all just kind of started working
Well,
together?
the link came up through Jason Lee.
Jason Lee?
Yeah, correct. Right.
So he's in Antigua now? Or
no, he's in America.
And he made the link happen. So is that
they wanted a Trinidadian vocalist, and he recommended Kerry John.
You see how Zoom does work wonders, boy?
That's it. There's the age we're living in.
It is digital the age we're living in. I mean, you and Jason have a relationship before?
Yeah, from a long time. Like 2020, Jason would have done my production for Go Away, which was my 2020 Soca Monarch finalist song. Right? You know, I was a finalist.
Yeah.
Right. So Jason did that production as well.
Okay, so you and him have been working together.
We've been working together. Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I mean, I know that you've been a part of this industry for quite some time now, doing your thing.
Trust me, since 2010.
And trodden through doing your thing. But you know, people often tend to look at the industry as only like the top 5 or the top whatever of the industries, right? But as somebody who's been working in it, what is the trick to stay working, to stay relevant, to stay not necessarily on top, like the top of the peak, but you're always on the mountain. Nobody can deny that you're always here.
Well, the trick to it, what has worked for me, I put on my blinders. I don't study what nobody doing. I study me, and I have all my faith and my trust in me and God. So I do business. How long have I take? That's God time.
But you're doing it. You ain't taking long. You're doing it, and you keep doing it. Right. And I want to encourage you to continue to do it. Ladies and gentlemen,
thanks, man.
That's how we wrap the show this morning. Kerry John is going to close off first, but I want to encourage each and every one of you to go out there and make a difference today now, because together we aspire. And if together we perspire, then together we can achieve. Kerry John, we had different kind of tunes to go this morning.
Hey, yeah. Everybody right now, get familiar. Drunk of emotions, lost in your eyes, and you have me open, yeah, I can't tell a lie. Way past the point of pretending that we're just cool, and what we do, friends doesn't do that, no. What we have is more than connection, and them things no happen there so, cause when we touch is connection, can't help but pull you in close. There's one look, no words, and like that, no clothes. Cause the vibe's so damn intense, we just can't help ourselves, baby. What we have not normal, the chemistry different day, thing it in differently, baby. What we have not normal, seems like I'm set ablaze when you're near to me. So come here to me, cause I never felt nothing like this. No, I never had nothing like this. It's a special type of something. You press my button, now you make me turn and twist. Lord, I never had nothing like that. You make me feel like I can't hold back. No, I never had nothing, never felt nothing, never had nothing like this. Came out of nowhere. Asha here. I don't sing it. I don't get our voice. But girl, but you have me falling. Can't help myself, yeah. Cause I never felt this way touch is perfection. Can't help but put you in close. This one look, no words. I like that. Hey, cause the vibe's so damn intense. We just can't help ourselves. Baby, what we have not normal. That chemistry differently. Sing it in differently. So baby, what we have not normal. You feel really loving it? This loving it, Carnival is loving her. Yeah. Cause I never felt nothing like this. No, I never had nothing like this. It's a special type of something. You press my button, now you make me turn and twist. Lord, I never had nothing like that. You make me feel like I can't hold back. No, I never had nothing, never felt nothing, never had nothing like this. You have an effect on me, and I can't fight it. No, I can't fight it. No, this one look with words. I like that, so close. Cause the vibe's so damn intense. We just can't help ourselves, baby. What we have done normal. The chemistry differently. Sing it in differently. Baby, what we have done normal. Seems like I'm set ablaze when you're near to me.
Feel better, Mom.
Panadol Multi-Symptom. Relief in minutes. 7 cold and flu symptoms. Panadol Multi-Symptom. A dose of efficacy and care.
For cold and flu symptoms, Panadol. Relief always by your side.
Oh, I've got this feeling to high-five the sun, dance in the rain, and have my scoop of fun. I'm on my way to flavor my day with something new, and I've got room for you. Let loose and live a little, get close and share a little, give in and taste a little. You'll fall in love with creamery novelties. Love life and live a little, get close and share a little, give in and taste a little. You'll fall in love with creamery novelties.
Enjoy new creamery novelties. Live a little.
The Ministry of Education is doing its part to provide a safe environment for our nation's students as they return to school. Here are some of the safety measures and procedures to be aware of. Face masks are optional at schools for this age group. For their own protection, students are asked not to share stationery or snacks with each other. If a child is ill, please keep them at home and get them medical attention. The Ministry of Education is doing its part to keep our schools safe.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Good morning. This is TTT News Update. I'm Ayana Carter, making the news at this time. 2 men were arrested and a pistol and quantity of ammunition seized by officers of the Northeastern Division Task Force last night. According to the TTPS, the guns and ammunition were seized during an anti-crime operation. Police say while on patrol along Semp Street, Mova, officers stopped a motor car with 2 male occupants. A search of the vehicle resulted in officers finding 1 Taurus pistol loaded with a magazine containing 12 rounds of ammunition. The suspects were said to be from Mova. Investigations are ongoing. Economist Dr. Darren Conrad believes the 2023 budget is a long-term plan for economic development. Dr. Conrad added that the budget also centers on human capital awareness and environmental awareness.
The budget, by and large, to me, it addressed a number of the major issues, but of course, the question looms in terms of where do we go from here. So the budget is a plan, but not necessarily something that would be implemented right away.
Dr. Conrad also lauded the adjustments made to GATE.
That GATE was going to be addressed. But it surprised me that it was addressed in a way that I didn't think that it would be addressed, in that it focused on those individuals who would then, in having associated baccalaureate programs, they are now able to do so, which I think is very, very important.
President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, tutor Antonia de Freitas, staged a one-woman protest outside of the Hall of Justice in Port of Spain on Tuesday. De Freitas said she came out to represent her members' dismay over the government's offer, which she said represents only $296 before tax. She said the union has recognized that there is not a willingness by the state to negotiate in good faith. On Sunday, Attorney General Reginald Armour, at a media conference, revealed that an injunction was sought following the union's continued call for teachers to rest and reflect. Top of the table, Signal Hill United met the Bertil St. Clair's Sports Academy to defend their unbeaten record. St. Clair were on the hunt for their first points in the toughest place to get in at the Ascension Tobago Football Association Premier League. Kent Fuentes has more from this Jovan Ravello compiled report.
Tyrone Manning got Signal Hill going in the 9th minute, forcing in the opening goal. It was sure a sign of things to come. Christopher Morgan bundled in the second after some sharp passing down the right. Signal Hill had the bit between their teeth, and they continued to pressure their opponents. A quickly taken free kick earned them a penalty, which Miguel George tucked away in the 31st minute. George completed his brace with a great touch and the finish to make it 4-0 in the 39th minute. In the 72nd minute, despite slowing down a bit, Kadeem Roberts polished off another sweeping passing move. Morgan got his second when the St. Clair keeper went for a stroke, and the service found him arriving late at the far post. O'Meal Jackson completed the route as Signal Hill's players lined up to apply the final blow. 7-0 the final, and the match continues for Signal Hill. Kent Fuentes, TTT Sports.
That was TTT News Update. I'm Ayana Carter. Have a good morning.